I mean, it was like bang, bang. And look at the film. Brawley did not challenge it. They said that Chandler targeted the kicker, but in actuality, what he did was that he failed to get his arms out. He got in so fast on the Kofa kicker that he failed to get his arms out and literally ran into the placeholder. And wasn't really direct helmet-to-helmet contact, but it looks. I mean, when you just see it in real time, it does not look good. Nobody was hurt, which is a fortunate thing.
Right.
Chandler learned a lesson about special teams, that when you go flying in there, you better be ready to pay the price. And everybody's ready to move on, although it does leave a big hole because Chandler is the starting outside linebacker, and he is also the tight end. Replacing him at linebacker is going to be Nathan May, who is now suddenly going to have to go both ways when he's only been going one way. But we've gotten a break from the weather, guys.
Yes, we did. And now looking at the weather, I mean, after the rain the last couple of days, it really cooled down the field. And like I'm right here in my classroom, right in front of the field, actually. And it felt pretty cool this morning watching the maintenance staff get it ready. It was a little wet earlier today. They waited a little while before to do the finishing touch-ups. We didn't get the numbers on the field today because it was a little muddy, but we have enough to, have a game.
Where are the? Oh, the numbers are on the other side, so we are going to be guessing a little bit, but you probably know more than normal. So truth be known, Albert, we're going to be also bringing Jesse Gutierrez in. He's going to play on the D line for May, who's now going to move to linebacker. But May, again, is going to do double duty at both linebacker and tight end. And Channy was out of the game with, 3 minutes to go, something like 3:43, I believe, 3:42, and ended up as the second leading tackler.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, that shows you the impact. May's going to have to pick it up.
Right, and we got a little taste of it last week, as you said, Tom. The Wildcats went a whole half without both Torres and Self, but something that we saw last week, a lot of Wildcats stepped up, including Gutierrez, who had to change his role a bit last week, and he did well. He picked up some big tackles, he put some pressure on the Cibola quarterback, and we also other guys step in like Jaden Figueroa and Joel Murillo, so they filled in nicely as well, and they're going to have to do the same thing today, or they're going to have the opportunity to do that tonight.
I went away from last game, guys, thinking that Xavier Pereda, a left-footed kicker, and if anything that drives coaches crazy, it's kickers. At Brawley, it's soccer style or soccer player kickers that drive them crazy. I don't know why. I've never seen anybody take a straight on since I played in high school, to be honest. And we had a soccer kicker. Our soccer kicker actually went on to become an All-American at Chico State. Okay, and we got him out there because he could literally kick it from 70 yards, but he would never quite got into the stepping into it. But anyway, long story short, kickers drive people crazy. But Pereda, knock on wood, I'll knock on my head, not missed a PAT all year. He was the difference in the game.
Absolutely. And actually, Pereda, one of my students.
All right, you get credit. You get credit.
Very calm, very cool, very collected, very confident. Very confident. I know that Wildcat kickers, not in recent years, but in the distant past, we've had trouble with kickers who were soccer players and they missed a kick, and that just shattered their confidence. And I don't see that out of Pereda. Very confident young man. And like you said, Tom, let's knock on wood and hope he keeps making kicks throughout the season.
Hey, somewhere along the line, Messier missed a PK. I'm telling you what, you got to get these egos a little less fragile here on our soccer team. We'll talk to Frank Felix, who, by the way, was quite a kicker for the Central Spartans and was the CIF Defensive Player of the Year in the southern section of CIF in soccer. So Frank knows what they're going through. But that said about Pereda, in reviewing the film today with Coach John Self and looking at little snippets on Huddle, it to me suddenly became apparent that Murillo, who was thrown into the Yuma Catholic game, got picked on and said, hey, I'm not going to take this. really, I mean, manned up. And manned up.
Absolutely.
And then last week, he's playing soft because of the refs, but he gets there and just tips the ball away on a 2-point conversion that could have changed the entire complexion of that game. So I want to give Murillo some props.
Absolutely, and not just the play on the 2-point conversion, but if you remember the drive before, the Raiders got into Brawley's 20-yard line. They were threatening to put the game away, and Murillo broke up a pass on 3rd down. Raiders went for it on 4th down. Murillo broke up a pass again, and that allowed the Wildcats to march down the field for that game-winning score.
Okay, we know Albert's going to be leaving us for his day job, as it were, but we're going to make that his second job here pretty soon. So we hope. So I don't want to lose the momentum. But a big win last week, and I again talked to Coach John Self, and of course Albert, you have many of the players in your classes. I thought that going into the game, they looked down because they felt they couldn't win in Yuma because of the officials. And that's bad on so many levels. But I got news for you. It's also a reality of being a human being.
Right.
Pulling out a win, getting 2 key penalties on a drive that you needed to win the game from the referees, I just felt like that probably turned them around. What's the feeling on campus?
Well, things could have unraveled there, Tom. We were about to unravel there as we were headed into halftime. But I think part of it is it starts with the signal caller. He's a freshman, Ethan Gutierrez. But, man, that young man showed a lot of discipline. He showed a lot of composure. He rallied the troops. The Wildcats responded with a good drive after the 2 players were ejected. No, they did not score, but they came back in the 3rd quarter and took the lead momentarily as well. Lost the lead, but then Gutierrez marched them down. So the coaches are saying the right things there at the half. Gutierrez got the troops rallied behind him, and all these kids came in, stepped in, and made big plays like Joel and Jaden Figueroa and Jesse James Gutierrez made some big plays.
Okay, Albert, thank you. I know you need to get down and start doing the PA portion of the game, and we'll look forward to you. You want to come up at halftime and chat with us?
I'll be around, Tom, sure.
Okay, we'll look forward to it at halftime. Thank you, Albert.
Good luck, guys.
Oh, thank you. All right. Danny Tombach and I are still here. We got a couple of things we want to go over. First of all, let me update you on the Wildcats. They are 2-2 going into this game tonight, losing their opening game 28-19 over in Yuma to Gila Ridge after leading 13-0. Danny, that's the kind of thing, in addition to the referees, when you blow a lead like that, that stays with you.
Yes, it does. And like I said, I don't want to complain about the refs much, but we were battling against refs in every single game in Yuma this time. Granted, the calls went both ways, but some of the calls...
Well, they didn't go both ways at Yuma Catholic. Let me flat out tell you that. However, you go on the road, and we're going to find that in CIF, and it's a reason, but not an excuse. How's that? There are a lot of reasons. A lot of reasons in the game, but that ended up being, I think, maybe a bad excuse. Also, the Wildcats then came back here, our only game here so far this season, and defeated the Indio Rajas by a score of 43-7. Went on the road, lost to Yuma Catholic 50-35, and in addition to fighting the referees, fought themselves. Gave up at least 3 touchdowns, 3 key turnovers that led to scores by Yuma Catholic. So we easily could have been in that particular game. Then back to Arizona and a win. Last week, that's one we were talking about, 21-19. Loss potentially of 2 players, but one of them's back, and the other is just going to kind of sit this one out. And with Kofa on deck here tonight, a team not very strong, has not had a winning season, and I don't know how long. Their best record was, I believe, 2014 when they went 5-5, but they are a below 500 team like for this century. And it's kind of unusual, Danny Tombach. It's a big high school. By law in Arizona, all schools have to pretty much be balanced. And when they reach a certain point, a school, you have too many students, then the state of Arizona, they don't have to do bond issues and all this hoops that we jump through in California. It's the Wild West. And the state comes up with the money and builds another school. And it's so I don't see why Kofa and Yuma especially are not as good as they previously were. I know the schools have split, and that Cibola and Gila, on the other hand, appear to be competitive. And Yuma Catholic, which cherry picks the whole area, they're very good.
Yep.
So there's talent in Yuma. I just don't know why it's not getting to Kofa.
Yeah, and Yuma has how many schools, Tom? High schools, 5 high schools, I believe. So it's it's sort of thinning out the athleticism of all the schools, and they're separated to 5 different schools. And then Yuma Catholic, of course, they're able to recruit, I guess, the word I want to use, but they're able to pick up players from all over Yuma, and I think even Winter Haven sometimes they pick up over there. So we have challenges that Yuma Catholic doesn't have.
Yeah. So Kofa, not a very strong football team, but we have to play them. The kids have to get ready for them, and we're looking forward to a game tonight where perhaps we can continue to open up the offense. The key now is to come out of this with as many good learning opportunities as we can, and get out of this with everybody all hands on deck next week. Only one missing so far tonight, Danny, continues to be J.J. Fernandez. He finally got his broken jaw taken care of, but he's going to be out at least 3 to 4 more weeks, which is pretty tough. All right, here's our national anthem. The Brawley High Wildcat Band with a stirring rendition of our national anthem. And for those of you out there who may be band alumni or just alumni and are watching our simulcast, as it were, you always know that weather is starting to break when the Wildcats band comes out in some uniforms instead of T-shirts.
Right.
And I don't blame them one iota, because it gets plenty dang hot out there. Tonight is Pop Warner football night. You may be able to see them somewhere on your screen. They will be out at halftime, I believe. They are going to make, I believe now, some kind of a tunnel for the Wildcat football players to run through. Coaches scurrying around down there with the young people. I'm not sure if it's Pop Warner anymore or it has a new name, but whatever it is, it's pretty much a height, age, and weight determined way to learn football. And, if you have a young person out there and you go, they're too young, I want to get them in football, I would advise at some point, if you think they want to play high school football, that you allow them to play in some kind of organized tackle football against people their own size, Danny.
Right, and this, Pop Warner or whatever the new name, I think it's Youth Football League. It's the foundations for our Brawley Wildcat football team here. I mean, as we look at the kids over here right now, they're wearing their blue and gold jerseys, and this is the future of the Brawley Wildcats. So, talking to a couple of coaches over there, they do travel different places. I guess they've been going to Lake Havasu now. They're playing over there. I guess playing Arizona side, and also they played in Florida last year. Talked to one of the coaches there. I guess I think 1 or 2 teams went out there to Florida this last summer. So, a lot of good things happening here with this program.
And the fact, again, that you learn to play the game of football and you don't get overwhelmed by anybody in particular. When you wait till you're in high school, I played a little bit of Pop Warner against guys my size, and when I got to high school, I found out not necessarily is the guy across from you your size. But I, by then, had been used to being hit and everything else, which was pretty good because I got hit a lot. But as a lineman, but you don't get overpowered, you don't get discouraged when you play people of like size. Okay. And so that would be my particular point there. We're ready for Wildcat football. Not sure what happened on the coin toss. I was talking with Albert Padilla, who'll be back with our broadcast crew at halftime. In the meantime, we're going to step back around the bull board and be back with exciting 2019 Brawley High Wildcat football. The Cats and the Kofa Kings. First time they played, I believe no one's been able to nail anything down closer to a half a century ago. So a little history being made tonight. We'll be back with that right after this. Welcome to exciting 2019 Brawley High Wildcat football. This webcast is being brought to you by the Desert Review and Wildcat Broadcasting and is presented on thedesertreview.com and on Facebook at The Desert Review. Brawley football is sponsored by Hart Insurance Company, the Dom Team for Real Estate, Johnny's Burritos, Ojeda Industries, The Man Company, OK Rubber Tire, Jordan Central Implements, Desert RV, Brant Beef, Carter Taylor and Lidco, Clayton Drain Tile Maintenance, Fry Chapel and Mortuary, Clickup Parker Insurance Company, A&R Construction, Brawley Auto Center, Smith Candle Insurance and Real Estate, and One World Beef Packing. And now here is the Wildcat Broadcasting team of Tom Ranco, Danny Tom